You're listening to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon, presented by 92.9 Tom FM, an iHeart radio station.
Hello, and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. I am Kyle McMahon. It is an amazing week, isn't it? I mean, all things considered, we are alive, at least. So we've got that going for us. And you're with me, so I thank you for that. That means a lot to me. So guess what? It is the 50th episode of Pop Culture Weekly. 50 episodes. I can't even believe it. So naturally, for the 50th episode, that means we are going to have a great show and then have a big party for the 51st episode extravaganza next week. So this week, we've got 4 different interviews. I interviewed, typically I go down to Washington, D.C. for PBS's A Capitol Fourth, which is an awesome, incredible show every year. It's the national fireworks on the west lawn of the Capitol with this awesome party with great artists celebrating America. And, it's a little bit different this year. So this year, the show is going to be done virtually, just like it was for the National Memorial Day concert. It airs on the 4th of July at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then, it'll replay after that. But it'll also be on demand for the next 2 weeks after that. And you can watch it on YouTube and Facebook. So on PBS's A Capitol Fourth, Facebook and YouTube, you can watch it live there. So that's pretty cool. So in any event, today from A Capitol Fourth, I have the one and only Vanessa Williams. I mean, incredible artist. She was, of course, the first Black Miss America. She has a awesome music career. She is an actress. It's been on Ugly Betty and so many shows, Desperate Housewives, and it goes on and on and on. And I also talked to the legend, Otis Williams of The Temptations. Otis is the founder and the only original surviving member left of The Temptations. So I talked to him about his legendary career with The Temptations and what they're doing now and their upcoming 60th anniversary. So that's really a great time. And then I talked to country star Brantley Gilbert about his brand new song, as well as what he's been doing. He was supposed to be touring right now, and with COVID, obviously, that's been postponed temporarily. So we talk about that, what it's like to have 3 back-to-back #1 albums. And then this is a really, really great conversation that I'm so excited for you guys to hear. I speak with the Tony-winning Brian Stokes Mitchell. Brian is a Broadway legend, and of course he's been in TV and film as well, but recently he went viral because he was diagnosed with COVID. He got, the coronavirus, and as he was getting a little bit better, he went on his balcony in New York and started singing The Impossible Dream, which is, of course, a show tune. People started singing with him, and it ended up being this huge thing. And it was, dedicated to the frontline workers, everybody that has a part in getting us through this pandemic. Really incredible story from a great guy. So, without further ado, you're going to hear my interview with Vanessa Williams, Mr. Otis Williams, Brantley Gilbert, and Brian Stokes Mitchell. So, I am here with the incredibly talented and the legendary Vanessa Williams. I'm so excited to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit. You're going to be co-hosting A Capitol Fourth with Mr. John Stamos. Tell me a little bit about, you've obviously been involved in the past. You're hosting this year, and, tell me what that's like differently than what you've done in the past with Capitol concerts.
Well, I've done a number of Capitol concerts. I think this is my 3rd 4th of July. This year I'm co-hosting with John Stamos. I honestly had some reservations when I was approached, just because it was probably 3 weeks ago. The country was in the middle of major unrest, and a lot of people did not feel connected to our country and to celebrate our independence from the British, there were a lot more uh, uh, immediate needs that I felt I can't get up there and pretend that nothing's going on. So I had and my team had a great conversation with the producers of the Capitol Fourth are amazing. It's like a family going back home to them whenever I work. And we were candid. We said we can't ignore the protests on the street. We can't ignore how people feel not equal in this country. And they heard it. They said, let's make it different. So we went through the script and we added things that normally we wouldn't have to address, that talk about how we all make up America, how over these hundreds of years, we all helped build this country. So within our show, which is equally, we're distant, you know, John and I are on the opposite sides of a screen, and we have to actually go to the talent through the screen, watch their performances, and then, you know, address the audience. We talk about Black history. I give, you know, some history about some of the people that helped build this country. We talk about people's feelings, about being included, that we are aware, we see, we hear. And I think it really is one of those wonderful opportunities to unite everyone and remind each other that, yes, there is division in America right now. Yes, we are making changes, thank God, but we are all Americans, whether we came here not on our, you know, whether we came here by force over the past hundreds of years, we have helped build this country and we are proud to be Americans. And that's what it's all about.
I love that. And I love that, you know, obviously it was, you know, probably a difficult choice for you as you are deciding, you know, whether to do something which is a celebration of America with, you know, multiple things going on, both, you know, both with the injustice and as well as COVID. And,
Exactly.
you know, many people probably don't feel like celebrating. But what I love about this is that you've turned that around to be a platform to use your voice for positive change in uniting.
I hope so. That's what I wanted to do, to be able to take this moment for celebration and to remind people that we are united and we built this country together. But also, I dedicate a song, which I do in the show, to the mothers who have fear that they're not going to see their kids at the end of the day, whether you know, it's a Black mother, whether it's mothers in general that are have their sons go off to the military and don't know whether they're going to see them again because of them you know, their call of duty. So I sing a Stephen Sondheim song, which is from Sweeney Todd, called "Not While I'm Around." No one's going to hurt you, not while I'm around. So it's a protective song about I've got you. I'm in charge. I will try to protect you from all the harm in the world. And then it goes into Somewhere from West Side Story, which is my favorite all-time musical. But it's about, you know, there's a place for us somewhere, a place for us, you know, peace and quiet and open air. We'll get there together. So again, it's dealing with the reality of what's happening right now, but also infusing it with hope, which is what, you know, the Capitol Fourth does elegantly. I mean, it's such a beautifully shot production every year that, you know, it's going to be classy and make you feel fantastic. But I think they really hit the nail on the head and was able to combine current events with what we've always known and loved about Capitol Fourth celebration.
I love that. And speaking of singing, it has been, I believe, 11 years since your last album. Is that correct?
Yeah, I get, yeah, 09, absolutely.
So are you done? Can we expect another album at some point from you?
Yeah, of course. I'm not done. You know, right now I should be on the West End in London doing City of Angels, which of course they closed down Broadway and closed down the West End within days. So Now that I have time to devote to an album, I guess I'm gonna have to do it at my house, which I've been recording at my house anyway. So I don't know what date it is, but yes, we're working on new material, and it should be out whenever we can manage to put all the pieces together in this new world that we're living in.
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, career-wise, I mean, you've done music, you've done television, you've done film, author, I mean, so many hyphens. What has been the most rewarding for you? And this is kind of a loaded question because it could be all of them, but what really feeds your soul?
When no matter what the genre, it's when when all cylinders are firing, which was like a great ensemble. For instance, like Ugly Betty was one of those great casts, and we loved each other, we respected each other, we were all wanted to see each other's talents shine. And so it was like, when you're on a great team and you can pass the ball and you know that they're going to get it and run with it. That was Ugly Betty. So that was a great ensemble. When I did Kiss the Spider Woman on Broadway, my first Broadway show, again, great material, great cast, a fantastic moment in time. So there are these little kind of jewels that I look back on, that I always remember kind of, singing at the Academy Awards, and the song won that night. So singing live at the Academy Awards, which you never think that you're ever going to be on that stage, the song wins and you gave acknowledge. And it's like, wow, it's kind of like the Super Bowl. I've done the Super Bowl, these out of body experiences that you don't really realize the impact until you sit back and go, oh my God, I sang the anthem at the Super Bowl back in '96. Oh my God, that happened. So there's been a lot of goals in my life, but I'm lucky that I've got so many in so different areas.
And what do you think, and I ask many artists this, you've been successful in so many things. What does success mean to you?
Well, in this business, which there's a lot of no's. There's a lot of, it won't work, it can't happen, no one's ever done it before, that window is closed. Agents tell you all that time, producers, I mean, there's always no's. So the most important thing is that you'll always find your time, and it'll always be right once you get to that point. So you'll be hurt by the no's. It's frustrating, but connect to that fire in your belly that got you to where you are now, and just always remember that eventually things will get to where they are. And sometimes you don't even realize where you end up, because we're so programmed to, if I do these steps, then I'll make it here. And sometimes, as you know, life can throw you a huge zigzag, and you have success in another area that you never even thought of. But it's those lessons that you've put in place that when you're prepared, you're ready to roll. So my advice is always be ready to roll, always learn, never stop asking questions, never stop absorbing every type of information that you can from wherever inspires you, because you never know when you'll be able to utilize it and be able to get into action.
Awesome. Amen. Vanessa, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. You are just awesome. You're just an incredible person. You are a role model for so many people in so many, facilities or projects, from, a businesswoman to, I mean, there's so many hyphenates for you, and you exceed at all of them. So thank you for being a shining light in this world and for speaking with me.
Thank you so much. Have a great day and enjoy the 4th of July.
Thank you. You too. And I hope to see you next year in person.
Absolutely.
Stay safe.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. I mean, I am here with the legendary, the one and only Mr. Otis Williams, founder of The Temptations. Thank you for speaking with me.
My pleasure, Kyle. Very happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. So let's first start off with A Capitol Fourth. So you're going to be performing for the PBS special this year. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it was a wonderful event for us to be at to do the taping, which would be, I think, about 2 weeks ago, come this weekend. But it was wonderful. We did a 3-song medley. And we did Get Ready, out of Get Ready to Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and out of Ain't Too Proud to Beg to My Girl. So it was smooth. Just thank God for the experience to be able to make it happen the way it happened, because this was a different kind of endeavor, because we're used to performing in front of a crowd. But this was what it is because of what we're dealing with as far as this pandemic 19. But it was wonderful, and we did it, and then the producers and everybody connected seemed to be happy with what we did. So there it is.
I was lucky enough to meet you guys and watch you perform. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before with PBS.
Yeah, I think it was year before.
I mean, you guys were incredible.
Well, I thank you for that, because when you've been around as long as we have, come January of next year, it'll be 60 years. So we've had a lot of practice to be, hopefully I'm right in saying incredible, so I'm still in wonderment behind still being here almost 60 years later, because I never would imagine when we started out in Detroit in 1961 that I would still be here doing this, and especially with all the different changes that I've gone through. But here we are, still riding a half the horse.
And I love that. Back in your first number one was 1964, My Girl. And,
yes.
As you said, 59, almost 60 years later, you are still performing, still relevant, still vital. And throughout all of the different changes in both pop culture and the world and politics and everything, you guys have pushed through. What do you think is the reason for that?
One thing I think it behooves us to know that the one thing that's constant in life is change. We have been able to adapt to whatever the musical trend would take forward, because show business can be such a fickle business. And to be around, if you were to be around 5 to 10 years, that's a long time, but to be around for 60 years, that's an incredible love of the public and the love of us, what we do, being able to adapt to the musical trend, because that's always changing from one brand of music to another kind. And we've been able to withstand that. So it's a hard work, love, dedication, and understanding that there's always going to be change. Being able to adapt with the change of time is one of the most important things. So attempts I've been able to do that.
And your live show, I mean, as performers, right from the gate, you guys have had a energetic live show that is replicated even today. I love Bruno Mars, and the thing he does. I mean, that's inspired by you guys.
Yeah.
How does that feel to be like a trailblazer like that?
It feels good. When I saw Bruno Mars and these guys do, I think it was the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him doing something. I said, "Oh yeah, that's a temptation move they just did right there." So it really feels good when you can see someone that's happening now, but they're still reaching back in time, bringing forth what was in the past up to today. And I'm very impressed, that we've been able to touch so many wonderful and talented people to help carry the Temptations on by taking little tidbits from what we are known for, implementing that into their show. So it was great to see Bruno Mars, and we met Boys to Men, a group out of Boston. Wow, can't think of their name right now.
Not New Kids.
No. Wow. Geez, it's a shame, because they patterned themselves after us. 5 guys out of Boston area. But, it's great to see that happen. And, I just love it, because here we are, like I said, in a minute, Lord willing, it'll be 60 years come January.
That's absolutely incredible. And, one of the testaments, I mean, your catalog of songs, I mean, My Girl, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. I love, I'm gonna make you love me.
Now you got a voice there, but you better do some recording yourself.
Thank you. So it's just hit after hit after hit after hit. What was that? Tell me about how that happened, because as you said, people today are lucky. Well, even then, we're lucky to get a 5 or 10 year career. People are lucky to get one hit, let alone a whole catalog of hits. What is that for the Temps? Why did that happen?
Well, you know what? When I stop and review my life from when we signed with Motown in 1961 all the way up to the present time, like I've always said, when we are performing, there's a sit-down session that we do. And I tell the audience, there will never, ever be a recording company like Motown Records. We were very lucky to be in Detroit because, Detroit has always been known for the big three, Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. I said, well, no, Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler's got to move over. Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, Motown, and it's such a special kind of company that we were blessed to have all those talented people there, the Smokey Robinson, the Holland, W. Holland, Norman Whitfield, Berry Gordy, Ashford and Simpson, cranking out hits, hit after hit. And the Temps was caught up in that. Norman Whitfield, Barry Strong, and we were caught up in that. And little did we know at the time when we signed that we would have that kind of track record for having hits. So a lot of it I have to give to being in Detroit and Motown at that time. And just God brought that little company together for a special reason. Because like I've always said, Motown was no happenstance. The 60s was the most tumultuous decade in the last 100 years. And here comes this little two-story family flat that housed all those talented people to produce such wonderful hits. That those songs I heard the other day when I was being interviewed, the disc jockey, before he started introducing me, he played a little snippet of Ain't Too Proud. So I'm sitting there listening and I said, wow, now we're talking about 1966, 67. That song sounds so relevant and very good. Here it is almost 60 years later. So, hey, I'm just a blessed man to be in a blessed group, to be connected with a very wonderful company like Motown.
And, Motown, the label and the movement of music and all of the talented artists with it really went on to change not just pop culture, but music.
Sure. Yeah, we've traveled to different parts of the world, like Gdansk, Poland. That was shortly after the Iron Curtain, began to collapse. And was a Rolling Stone, and, I saw, even though we were in a country that spoke a whole other language, but they were singing our songs in English. So after the show, I said, how do you guys get our music? And they said, black market. Anything about Motown and Motown artists, we got to find a way to get that. So I was very touched behind that. And I can name a whole lot of different instances that made me really stop and think about the impact that music can have on people's life. Because like I said, we were on a world tour in 75, and this was shortly after the Vietnam War had ended. And 3 guys that were in the service, they recognized me and they said, Mr. Williams, you just don't know the impact that you guys have had on us while we were over in the jungle. And I said, really? And they started running it down how impactful Motown and the Four Tops, the Supremes, and all of us meant to them. As they were explaining that to me, they stood there crying. And it touched me, so I said, wow, these guys putting their lives on the line. But they would come back to the camp and they said, we got to hear the Temptations. We got to hear something from Motown. He said, you all kept us inspired to get back to the world. And that's what they refer to America as, the world. So I've had a lot of instances that made me say, this is a very special time in my life. And I'm still enjoying the ride 60 years later.
And you should, it's incredible, the legacy that you have and continue to create. And speaking of legacy, you've had a movie about you guys. You have a musical that came out that debuted on Broadway last year, Ain't Too Proud to Beg.
Yes.
What is that like to see your life in sorts on stage and screen?
You know what? Let me tell you, when I first saw them assemble in New York, and they were just beginning to, rehearse for the play. So my manager, my business manager, Doogie, my road manager, and the heavyweights that were involved with the play, we were sitting up against the wall while the actors did their first scene. So after they did that, I got up and the whole cast surrounded me. And I said, you guys and girls moved me to tears. I am so touched, And so one of the guys said, well, Mr. Williams, if you feel that way right now, that must mean we have a hit. And I said, I like to think so, And then one guy said, well, grown men cry too, And then that they were referring to that I was moved so that I never would imagine that to sit and watch my life be that kind of impactful, not only on me, but everybody that was connected. So when they opened up in Berkeley, California, about 3 years ago now, it was awesome because I saw the whole show. And the thing about my play is it's not only about the music. Shelley, my manager, said, Otis, it's not only about the music, it's the story. And when you see the play, and once we get past this pandemic, it will be back on Broadway. If you get a chance, go see it. You will sit there and the people, it's funny because as I'm sitting in the audience, people knew who I was. So they would sit there and they would look at the play and then they would slowly crane it to see if what kind of emotion I was showing. And I said, yeah, it moved me to tears, but it's very impactful. And I'm just so thankful that I never would imagine that my life story, the attempts and us would be portrayed so wonderfully well on Broadway and received so well. So they are talking about next year, it will go across the country once we get past this pandemic, and then on over to Europe and various other places. So I'm just a blessed man.
That's incredible, and it actually is it is actually the first thing that once Broadway opens up again that is on my list to see, because the reviews have been excellent, and of course it's got a catalog of hits. So
yes.
I'm looking forward to that. So, and you guys you released an album 2 years ago. What's next for you?
Well, we're getting ready to line up for a 60th anniversary album. I think it's a must-have in the sense of fresh, brand new material, and to let our fans know that we are still relevant here this 60 years later. And our album, the whole premise of the Temptations, being part of Motown and from Motown, it will always be centered around great songs with great melodies, great songs with great lyrics, produced well, because that's what we are known for. So we will not slackjaw our audience when just throwing something together and calling it the 60th album. We will definitely make it very profound in the production end and the acceptance of our fans, because that's what they deserve for supporting us all these many years later. So it will definitely be a song album that would be, I think I would be very proud of to showcase.
And I would love to remember that memorial, and obviously this was when he passed, but they did a memorial, like a tribute concert to Michael Jackson, and all these artists that were influenced by him came and performed. I would love to see a bunch of great artists that have influenced, that you have influenced them to do some of your songs along with you guys. I think that would just be a fun thing to see, over generations, how just how many generations of people from all walks of life that Temps music has touched.
Yeah, I would like to see that. Well, the future is still very bright. I like to think of it in a very optimistic term, even with us going through what we're going through. I always try and stay very, encouraged about life and what have you. That would be a very interesting thing to see, because that have yet to be done. And I'd like to see that, see how it would be seeing other groups doing our stuff. And there's something in the works, but I won't speak on it yet because I don't want to bad luck it.
Of course.
But somebody got a very interesting slant about presenting the Temptations in the 21st century. So I met with them the other day, and after they ran down their concept, and I love the concept. I said, well, fine. The ball is in your court, meaning they have to go and secure the music so we can do this. So if it happens, we'll get back and I'll tell you what it is.
That's awesome. So finally, you have had, success throughout decades on multiple platforms. What does success mean to you personally as Mr. Otis Williams?
Well, success means quite a bit to me because, like I said, I'm a little fella from Texarkana, Texas, being raised by two wonderful grandmothers. And so to come from Texarkana to come to Detroit, and little did I know that I would become part of Motown Records. And I sit around and I look at what I have achieved, but it was all through hard work, dedication, perseverance. Anything of success don't come easy, because when you have to work at it and you achieve it, you appreciate it even more so because you put the time in, you put the blood, sweat, and tears in it. It holds value, it holds purpose. So I am very, very thankful that I've had such a long career, and I have to work hard at it, which we still work hard at it. We don't take it for granted, even though we've been around as long as we have. We still put blood, sweat, and tears in it because that gives it purpose. And when we walk out on stage, our fans expect the Temptations to be as such that they've known us for all these years. So it means a lot because that's something that I enjoy still. And the power of music, the power of success, when they can sit back and see the labor of love that we have put in it and the love and dedication that our fans have given us, it's powerful, so I don't take it for granted, and I'm very, very thankful for that.
Thank you so much for speaking with me, sir. It is an honor to talk to you, and I look forward to the Temps performing on Capitol Fourth this weekend, and I'm really excited for that 60th anniversary Temps album next year.
Well, you got it, and once we do it, I'd like to get in touch with you and give you one directly from me to you.
Thank you so much, sir, and you got to come back on and we'll talk about the new album.
Let's do this.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So I am here with country star, singer, songwriter, Brantley Gilbert. Thank you so much for joining me, man.
What's going on, brother? Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So you're going to be performing at PBS's A Capitol Fourth this year. Tell me a little bit about that.
Growing up, it was something, you didn't miss on TV. It's just always been an event that really drove home the 4th of July, and to be a part of this year is just, man, it's humbling and it's an honor.
And can you tell us what you're going to be doing yet, or is it a surprise?
I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't think. Hopefully, it's not a surprise. I'm going to be singing my new single, "Hard Days." It's just a song. It's kind of self-explanatory, but it's about taking the good with the bad and appreciating the bad that leads to the good, and finding hope or just acknowledging hope that's already there. And man, it's a special song to me. It means the world, and it's one that I'm excited for the world to hear.
Yeah, it's a great song, and I saw you talk about it, and you said that lyrically you feel this is a song you're really proud of because lyrically it can stand on its own.
For sure. Few and far between are the moments when you're able to be a part of something that could stand on its own lyrically. If it was poetry, it'd be worth reading to me. I just think it's special in the way it approaches things. It kind of meets you where you are. It's not soapboxy or preachy. It's like I said, it kind of meets you where you are and just kind of levels with you. And it talks about, things that are more than skin deep without kind of dragging you to rock bottom. It talks rock bottom with a hopeful vibe, and man, it's, in a melody driven world, to have something that I feel like could survive on its own is it's humbling, man.
I love it. And speaking of songs, you went to Nashville originally as a songwriter, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, I signed a publishing deal. I started writing with Warner Chappell before I signed a record deal, and man, I will always consider myself a writer first.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Is that why you went to Nashville, or did you eventually hope to get into recording as well?
Well, man, honestly, it wasn't so much of a Nashville was the end goal for me. We actually tried in the beginning to stay out as much as we could. I was terrified of some some horror stories I'd heard about labels or other folks kind of trying to change who people were, or that, and man, we had something that worked, and it wasn't accidental. We were just really blessed to be able to, develop what we did. And man, really, we started here in Georgia and worked our way around to where we were playing all the way out in Texas, and played some shows all the way up in Chicago. Man, just really building a following and kind of extending our circle and branching out, playing college markets. And then, starting off in, little hole in the wall bars and motorcycle clubhouses, and, then into little bigger bars and some college towns. And, it just, man, it was one of those things that we really pray for. And to me, it wasn't something necessarily that I went, man, I want to be a famous singer. I want to go to Nashville and I want to do that. That was never really my deal. It was, the things that we were able to accomplish together as a family and as a team really led us there. That was the place we landed inadvertently.
I love that. And then, of course, you went on to co-write some amazing songs, incredible hits. And your last 3 albums have gone #1. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and what's that like for you as not only a songwriter, but as an artist to, #1 is, can't get any higher than that.
That's top spot, right?
Exactly.
For me, man, every time, it's makes it especially, I think being a writer does make it extra special. And I probably enjoy it more on that end as a writer than I do an artist. But more than anything, man, I think for me, when I said we have a family, we do. The guys that I work with, the guys that are on the road with us, my band guys, my crew guys, management, the label, we're all a giant team, and it really is a family, man. So, when something like that happens, whether it's a #1 song or a #1 album, or, it's that chance for all of us to be proud of something that we built together. You know what I mean? And celebrate together. And it's a big team win. And man, that means as much as anything to me is seeing the guys and girls that have worked so hard around me, be able to enjoy that moment with me. And it's, I think that's more than enjoying it as a writer or an artist. I think experiencing it as a team and as a family is where it's at.
That's awesome. And, it's cool because, as you said, you were a little nervous as you started out to lose who you were and where you came from. And, look at you now, you're able to celebrate with your team, your family.
Yeah, man, we're extremely blessed, man. God gave us a lot more platform, a lot more spotlight than we have ever asked for. And some of the things that, we've had the opportunity to share that spotlight with. It's been absolutely amazing, especially with veterans and things. It's just, man, it's a huge life-changing thing. And I'm surrounded by people that not only, care about what we're doing, but hold me accountable. And, we kind of hold each other accountable. And it's just a special thing, man.
I love that, using your platform for good. I mean, that's really what it's all about. So, that's awesome. And I got to ask you, this is a random question, but what is with all the shirtless pictures of you everywhere?
What happened?
There's all these shirtless photos of you online.
Really?
Yeah. There's like I don't know if I came on like a fan site or something, and I'm like going through the photo albums, and I'm like, what is this like going on? I just thought it was a funny thing,
Man, I'll have to take a look into that. I don't.
I guess they're collecting them,
Man, I mean, a lot of times now, even in my life, it's not so much trying to show anything off or anything. I'm just from Georgia. It's humid as hell here. I don't wear a shirt a lot.
Right.
I will say nowadays it doesn't come off as much as it used to, especially not around large groups of people that are taking pictures and posting them on the internet. I don't think my wife would dig that all that much.
There you go.
More but ink now. So, but yeah, that's kind of funny. I don't know. I have to dig into that. Is that like a new thing, maybe?
I don't know. I was doing some research on your old interviews and stuff, and I came across the site. There's like all these photos, and I'm like, there's like a collection of them. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I just thought it was funny. So now when you get bored, you'll have to Google it.
Yes, my luck, somebody walk in and be looking at shirtless pictures of myself and be even more questionable.
So last question, you were set to go on tour. Are you having, with everything going on and Hard Days, is that going to be off of a new album? And if so, will the tour, when it happens, support that album?
Man, it's so hard right now to say what's next. This song is one that I felt like, there were a lot of people that could relate to it, and a lot of people that needed to hear it, or at least that I wanted to hear it. It had meant so much to me. It's one of those things, like when we did One Hell of an Amen, the guys that I wrote that about, like, I saw what their legacy did for their communities and, people around them. And I just wanted to take that to the rest of the world and see, what they took from it. And this song is right there along those lines. It's like, it meant a lot to me. I can't wait to see what it means for everybody else.
Awesome. And once everything clears up, we can expect a tour.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, I've been a road dog for well over half of my life. It's what I do. It's a part of who I am. I have to be careful not to bitch too much, because there are a lot of people in a lot worse situations than I am or than we are. But that being said, it is extremely different. You're programmed. I feel like we all program ourselves to operate in a certain way, and man, this is a big part of me. It's not just what I do for a living, right? It's not just something I love to do. It's a part of me. It's a part of my life. And being the what you see is what you get guy, that kind of comes with the territory. But man, as much as anything, you miss, playing shows. But hey, I really miss family, that we have out there. Me and my guys built a massive building together. I think more than anything, just to spend time together. But being able to interact with fans and hear their stories and shake their hands and it's all, it's everything about it that makes it what I love to do. Right. It's not, the shirtless pics or And I honestly mean that. The fame and all that, it is what it is. I could do without that, but the people that I've been able to meet and the opportunities that have presented themselves through what it is that we do have been absolutely incredible. Love playing music, love doing it with my guys, love being on the road, but love the people that we're doing it for as much as anything. So I'm as ready as anybody to get out there. I promise you. We're trying to find ways. We've been inspired, by different people finding avenues to kind of perform. We're trying to figure out where we fit in and all that. And, we want to make sure what we do is the right move. But I promise we are working every day to try to get back out.
Awesome, man. Brantley, thank you so much for speaking with me. Thank you for what you do for the troops and, and as I said, using your platform for good, man. It's awesome to talk to you.
I appreciate it, my brother. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. I am here with the Tony-winning, the one and only Brian Stokes Mitchell. Thank you so much for speaking with me, Brian. I really, really appreciate it.
Hey, Kyle, it is my pleasure, and I'll only speak with you if you call me Stokes, because that's what my friends call me, so please call me Stokes.
There you go, Stokes. So, you are doing the PBS Capitol Fourth concert that is this weekend. Tell me a little bit about, what you're going to be doing if you can, and what that was like for you.
Well, I don't want to say too much. I'll give a little hint, a little teaser, actually. One of the things that I've been doing is recording a lot of these things in my own house. This was the first one that I actually got to go to a theater and record with an actual proper crew and makeup person and hair person, camera operators, and I think it looks really, really beautiful. And the idea that they had for the shoot, I think, is really spectacular. And I don't want to say too much more, but if the other performers on the show are doing the same kinds of things that I did, I think it's going to be a really spectacular show, and they've got some really spectacular performers that are also going to be on the show as well.
I love that. I just talked to Mr. Otis Williams from the Temptations, who is an absolute delight, and he was. How can you go wrong with this lineup? You know what I mean? And this year, it's just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really fun to be in that company, even when I'm not there with them actually in that company. That's a strange thing about these times, but I can't wait to see what everybody else does as well. So
tell me a little bit about what July 4th means to you. What does Independence Day mean to Stokes?
That's a really interesting question, Kyle, because, it has changed over time, and particularly what our country is going through these days as well. I think it's really interesting because a lot of people are questioning, well, what is that exactly? What is July 4th? What is this Independence Day? Who is independent? What are we independent from? There are lots of questions that are coming up. One of the things, though, that I kind of like about this year that I think is very, very interesting. This is such a challenging year with everything that's going on with COVID, with politically, Black Lives Matter, what happened to George Floyd on the television right in front of our faces. One of the interesting things that I'm seeing is that what's unique about this time is that we have this rare, unusual opportunity to be able to sit and watch some of these things happen in front of our television, and then we're kind of forced to reflect on them as well. It's not like we, watch what happened to George Floyd and then, okay, let's go out for drinks at the bar. Oh, let's go out, see a show. Oh, let's go out, and have a fun time doing so-and-so. People were then not only horrified by that, but they're forced to sit in their own thoughts and think, oh, what do I think about? Oh, now I'm starting to understand. Now I'm starting to see. So it's not lost on me that this year is 2020, and it's a very challenging year, but I also think 2020 means perfect vision, as well. Maybe this is a year that we as a country start attaining some kind of perfect vision, and not only seeing the beauty of this country and all of the terrific, wonderful greatness about it, but also we see our faults and flaws as well. And it allows us the chance to look at that really with an honest eyes and really start some difficult conversations and the hard work that needs to be done to bring these things to some kind of happy resolve.
Absolutely. And I think there's a misconception sometimes that you can not find something has flaws and love it at the same time. And I think that's totally untrue. You can absolutely love something and still see, what? It needs some work, whether that's myself or a country or whatever it may be. Both of those things are not exclusive,
Yeah, what an interesting, great observation you made. Really, honestly, I don't think anything on the planet is perfect. As a performer, I'm always looking to do that perfect performance. I've never done it. It's the quest for doing that. That's why a lot of people think of the song "The Impossible Dream" when I sing it. And what I love about that song is it's actually called "The Quest." It's not about trying to do the impossible. It's about trying, period. It's about acknowledging that life is hard and life is difficult and life is challenging, and we need to kind of work through these things and see these things. But none of us are perfect, and our country is not perfect, and the world is not perfect, and our parents were not perfect, and we're not perfect parents, and our childhood was not perfect, and life is not perfect. It's just the nature of living on this planet. And I think the more we see that and acknowledge that and celebrate that, the better off we are, because then we can work on the things that need to be worked on as well, while also celebrating what is so wonderful. But we get to see it through reality, different eyes, and I think it's more inclusive and more helpful and more useful when we see everything that way, as opposed to, oh, everything's fine, I don't need to do anything about it. This is a time when we all need to do something about lots of different things. And I think we're all I don't think it's an accident that we all happen to be on the planet right now at this time, with COVID, with what's going on with Black Lives Matter, with what's going on politically in our country and our world. I think we all have the choice to be a part of a solution or part of the problem. We each come to the planet with certain gifts, skills, abilities, talents. Somebody may be a famous person that can, do something incredible, or a Martin Luther King or a Mother Teresa. And somebody may be a carpenter that lives in a little small town that is able to do one incredible thing for a neighbor or something like that. We're all able to do something to be helpful in this situation. And I think, especially times like this, they're really invigorating to artists who are already, always looking for a cause or something to really rally behind, or something to inspire us. And but I think it's true for everybody. You don't have to be an artist. You can be an accountant. You can be a furniture maker. You can be somebody who mows lawns or walks dogs for a living. We all have a gift. We all have something that we can give.
Yeah, and that accountant, there are nonprofits that need their accounting done, and they wouldn't be able to collect that money and distribute it to the places it needs to go. They didn't have an accountant to help them out with it. Every piece is important.
Absolutely, and that's a perfect example of that, But even the most innocuous or the most unrelated thing that you can think of, somebody can do something. It may not even have to do with what you do for a living. It may have to do with your heart and something that you say to somebody, or something that you're able to offer, or some words of wisdom or kindness that somebody is able to offer as well. Those can be world and life changing. Just as much as Martin Luther King and his words were, or Mahatma Gandhi.
And to those that are watching this, I promise this was not scripted, but that is actually the perfect segue into another topic I'd like to talk to you about, which is you were diagnosed with coronavirus. You had COVID-19, and you used your unique gifts to do something really, really special. And I'd like to get into that for a moment, if you don't mind. Tell me about, first of all, COVID. Were you terrified when you had it? Were you were you sick, or, what was that like?
I was sick. Yeah, I was like about as sick as you can get and not end up in the hospital. As a matter of fact, at one point, my temperature went up to 104.8.
Wow.
The highest it ever went, I remember when I was, a teenager, it went up to 104. And I remember my mom being like, oh my God, his temperature's 104. And here I am, an adult, way past, my teenage years. And it went up that high. And I remember getting on the phone with my doctor, a gentleman named Jason Kent, Dr. Kent, who works with the Actors Fund at the Actors Fund Clinic. And I said, should I be going to the hospital now? And he said, can you breathe? I said, yeah. He said, are your lips blue? I said, no. He said, do not go to the hospital, because this was early on, by the way. This was in early March. And he said, right now, they don't know what to do with you. They don't know how to handle this. They at that point, they didn't know even where to put somebody if they came into an emergency room. They said they don't know how to treat you. There's nothing they can do for you unless you need to be put on a respirator or you're having a life-threatening, issue. So I thought a temperature that high might be, but obviously it wasn't, and I'm still here. So I guess he was right. But what I started doing, actually, because it's 7 o'clock every evening, of course, here in New York, people have been cheering and clapping for all the essential workers, people like Dr. Kent and people like all the other doctors and nurses and workers in hospitals and EMS people, the fire department, the people working in our supermarkets, the delivery people, the people working for the MTA, transportation, driving the buses, getting people from here to there. We're out the windows cheering, clapping, hooping them on in gratitude. And mine was also for Dr. Jason Kent. And one of the things that I was doing, because towards the end, it went into my lungs, which is like the worst thing to happen for a performer, and particularly a singer. And one of the things that I did to kind of exercise it and try it out is I would vocalize. And so one day I was at the window, this very window right here, as a matter of fact, in my living room, and thanking everybody. And then I thought, oh, I think I can actually take a deep breath without coughing. And so I started singing The Impossible Dream. And part of it, because the lyrics of that song, to dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go. I mean, is there a more perfect song than the people that have been going through this and fighting this and dealing with this? And so it then became a thing, and it started attracting hundreds of people when they started hearing about it. And for me, I was just doing it as a one-off. I wasn't thinking, oh, I'll do this every night.
Right.
But people started coming around, and a lot of neighbors and people were sending me notes and texts saying, thank you so much for doing this. This is the first joy that I've had in weeks, or this is the first thing that's made me happy, or it's made me smile, or made me feel connected to other people. And I'd forgotten that that's one of the things that the arts and artists are able to do as well. And it became a really important part of the evening, and the kind of this celebration where we all could get together and just experience something like in live theater, like, you would.
Yeah. And it's, it was viral, and I feel like that doesn't do it justice, because it's not about that. What it's about, in my opinion, for what you've done, is really a movement of appreciation for these people that are, putting their lives on the line, literally, to keep our world going through all of this craziness, and for some of them to literally save lives through this. So, a huge congratulations to you, and kudos to you for using your voice, literally, using your gift that is uniquely yours, and helping to bring something good and positive to it, especially in a time like this.
Yeah, Kyle, thank you for saying that. I mean, I feel really lucky and fortunate and honored and grateful that I was able to do this, and that it gave so many people inspiration. I mean, I never thought, I literally did every major news show there is. And then I had people writing me from Japan and from Germany and from all over. Like you said, it went viral. And so people were seeing this, and they were also getting inspiration from it. And, that these are the kind of moments that I think, especially as an artist, you hope to be able to do something that touches people. I never in a million years thought that hanging out my window and singing, out for, on the streets would have that kind of effect on people. But, that's one of the surprising things about life. You never know what it is that you may do that may affect people in some terrifically wonderful way. And that was a great lesson for me.
Absolutely. It's like, I want a Tony, for God's sakes. And I'm getting a around the world buzz with singing out my window. You know what I mean?
Yes, they're in life crazy.
So what is next for you? Currently, from what I understand, Broadway is going to be dark until the beginning of the year. So what is on your agenda for the next few months, and then what are you doing come reopening?
Well, it's funny because I've been saying I've been busier now than when I was getting paid for it. It seems like I'm spending my day literally online on computers, doing interviews, having meetings. I'm on so many different boards and everything as well. And it seems like it goes from one thing to another. I get up in the morning and then I look at my watch and it's 1 a.m. and I can't believe where the time went. And so I've been really busy, not only with the Actors Fund, the chairman of the board of the Actors Fund, and we continue to help. I mean, so many people, it helps not just actors, but anybody who's made their living in show business, the performing arts. It's a professional in times of need or crisis or transition. And right now, that's been a major thing. We have an emergency assistance fund. Normally, in a year, in our emergency assistance fund, we'd give out about $2 million of emergency assistance. Since around March 20th of this year, we've given away over $13 million in emergency assistance to over 11,000 people. And people keep asking for help because nobody's working. And our sector, the entertainment sector, was hit harder, I think, than any other, and will remain that way. We were actually the first to close when they closed all the theaters and everybody was out of work. And not just the actors, that's the scenic designers, the costume designers, the makeup artists, the directors, the casting people, the administrators, the people that work in the theaters. I mean, there's lots of people. Yeah. Exactly. And then, we'll be among the last to come back because it relies on people feeling comfortable sitting together again. It's the same thing because that also happened. I'm going so off on a tangent right now. So get me back on the subject. When I feel like a little bit like a poster boy for performers because I was doing a show with my wife at City Center Encores, got canceled 4 days before we were supposed to open it. And a week after that, I'm doing a recurring role on Prodigal Son on CBS, and I was set to shoot, got canceled, or like they say, postponed, but still they don't know when they're coming back. I had a film that I was going to work on 2 weeks from that, got canceled. And then I also do concerts all over the United States. That's kind of what I've been doing a lot of in the last 15 years. Every one of them got canceled or postponed. So, and again, it's not just me, it's all of the people involved. So when a TV series gets canceled, it's not the actors you're seeing, it's not just them, it's the camera people, the boom operator, the gophers, the lighting designers, the writers, the producers, the directors, it's all of these people. And these are the people that the Actors Fund helps. So that's been a major thing. And there's a whole lot of other programs that I do. People can go on to Actors Fund that they do, actorsfund.org to find out more. I also work with Americans for the Arts, a nonpartisan artists advocacy and a lobbying organization that is really, collecting a lot of data on not just actors, but also sculptors and crafts artists and visual artists as well. And everybody's hurting really, really bad. There's a lot of theaters that probably won't open when we're at the end of this again, because especially the medium theaters all over the country are, already living on a shoestring and having a hard time. So I'm still involved in that. I've just been doing a bunch of think tanks with them for the last 2 weeks. I've got 2 albums I need to mix that I have. I've got an album in my head I need to write. I've got songs that I want to do just on my own, but I haven't had the time to do it. And also I'm involved with another organization called Black Theater United that was just formed. It's me, Audra McDonald, LaShawns, Felicia Rashad, Billy Porter, Norm Lewis, a number of people from the theater. We have about 500 years of experience in the theater between us. And this was in response to George Floyd and what's been going on, and us wanting to have a voice and be useful in that as well. So we've been organizing, and basically it's about uniting people and bringing people together for conversation and making some change happen as well. So all those things are keeping me pretty busy right now. I'm actually looking forward to some sleep.
I bet.
Be a good thing.
Well,
I want to take a vacation, but everything's closed.
Right, exactly. That's kind of the funny thing is, I was thinking through all of this, I'm like, this is the perfect time where I don't really have a million things to do. I want to go somewhere, but wait, oh no, I don't want to go anywhere because one, everything's closed, and two, so many things aren't safe. So, here we are.
Yeah, it's funny too, Kyle, because one of the first things, but this is before I got sick, when I knew that Broadway was closed and my concerts were canceled, I thought, great, now I can finally clean my room, because my room is my studio, it's my recording studio, but it's also my office, and also it's where my clothes are and everything. So, my filing system is all over my floor. I know where it is, but it still looks like a mess. And I thought, okay, I need to get this all in order. And then all of a sudden, all these asks came up from people, and my room is 50% clean now, but maybe it's the universe's way of telling us, clean your room.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. And clean up your life sometimes as well, on some of these bigger issues. So, we got to listen. And it's like what's happening now is like this big reset button, or as they like to say on Wall Street, we're having a correction right now. It's like Mother Nature is giving us this opportunity to see kind of not only our impact on the planet. We saw all of a sudden the dolphins return to the canals of Venice, and the smog disappear over Los Angeles and Shanghai. And, we're really seeing the effect that humans have on the environment, but also we're seeing the effect humans have on each other as well. And, it's allowing this time for reflection and to figure things out. And maybe we do need to think about things a little bit differently. So there's lots that we can do. Even in our downtime right now to help. And look what you're doing right now. We're having this conversation, and maybe it'll make somebody else think, oh yeah, I could do so-and-so, or I have the cure for cancer, I need to write that down. Who knows what it might be.
Absolutely. Stokes, thank you so much. It is a pleasure to speak with you. Your next project, your next 12 projects, whatever it is, come back on and let's talk about it. It really is a enjoyable conversation with you.
Thank you so much. I wish you health and happiness, and everybody. I hope we continue to love each other, and just look on those websites too. And Black Theater United has one. We got some great programs coming up, and the Actors Fund and Americans for the Arts. And I just wish everybody well, and we'll all get through this together if we work together and collaborate. I know.
Absolutely. This too shall pass. Yes, sir. Thank you, Stokes. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Kyle.
Take care. So, what did you think? Really action-packed show this week for the 50th episode. Every one of those guys is so talented. So make sure you watch Capitol Fourth on PBS. Depending on when you're listening to this, it's either has already aired on 4th of July at 8 p.m. Eastern, or you can watch it for the 2 weeks after on demand. And let me know what you want to see for our 51st episode extravaganza. I've got some surprises in store for next episode. I mean, you got to celebrate the 51st episode, right? So thank you all. See you on Reddit. We have that subreddit, Pop Culture Weekly, and, of course, all the socials. And you can always hit me up. You know where to hit me up. All right, guys. I'm Kyle McMahon. See you next week.
You're listening to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon, presented by 92.9 Tom FM, an iHeart radio station.
50 G-dang episodes. Do you believe it? I can't believe it.